And we kick off this evening with a look at the cinema.
I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema.
It's beautiful, beautiful cinema.
Cinema history come to life.
I found my solace in the small cinema I went to every Thursday night.
I'm a professor of cinema.
I go to the cinema for the stories.
There was no competition between the cinema and seminar.
I mean, it's not within the realm of conventional cinema.
And now,
here's Payson Johnson
with a cinema review.
It is Monday, July 7th, 2025, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Cinemaster's Reviews. I hope everyone had a nice holiday weekend, celebrated 4th of July. I had a really nice, relaxing weekend. I ate 9 hot dogs on July 4th to celebrate our independence when we kicked those British people's asses 249 years ago. Really cool there. But realistically, I hope everyone had a really nice just day off of just relaxation or just celebrating, whatever you wanted to do. I was able to go out to the movies, and I'm super excited to review them tonight. We are going to be reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth, the newest film in the Jurassic World franchise, as well as 40 Acres, the new film starring Daniel Deadwyler. I say we jump right into the show with our first review of the night, Jurassic World Rebirth. This is the newest film in the Jurassic Park / World franchise. It's the 4th movie with the Jurassic World title to it. It is the 7th film overall in the Jurassic Park franchise. This one is set a few years after Jurassic World Dominion, and it is we are essentially opening up on the fact that humans and dinosaurs have been able to coexist now for a while. At the end of, I believe, Fallen Kingdom, we learned that dinosaurs were essentially just released out into the wide open, and it's up to humans and dinosaurs to find a way to coexist. They've been coexisting for a while, and now no one really finds the idea of dinosaurs interesting anymore, and dinosaurs have all sort of like crawled their way over to the equator, where that is where all the dinosaurs now inhabit a large area. We learn that there is a new tech billionaire played by Rupert Friend, and he wants to take some dinosaur DNA in order to essentially upgrade a new form of healthcare, to monetize that healthcare in order to sell different types of cures for different diseases. He teams up with Zora, played by Scarlett Johansson, and Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey. They take a team over to this island to try and get dinosaur DNA to essentially make different strands and different types of cures for different diseases. I, like most people, I love that first Jurassic Park movie. I think it is both. I really do think it's just such a perfect mix of big blockbuster filmmaking, really interesting characters, as well as a really great message on why it's a bad idea to play God, why we shouldn't be trying to bring things back that naturally found their end with dinosaurs, like they're extinct for a reason, and why trying to bring them back is only going to lead to more people dying. Ever since then, I think the other entries in the franchise have been okay to terrible. I think the first Jurassic World film was fun. Haven't really liked any of the other films aside from that. I really hated Fallen Kingdom. I didn't like Dominion. So going into this movie, I was just sort of like, okay, I hope Universal can make a good Jurassic Park movie. I would like this franchise to get back to its roots. And unfortunately, I don't really think it did that. I think we are still in the same tired formula that these movies have been in since the first one, and we are still trying to find a good idea to turn into a feature-length film and just be given a reason for this franchise to continue, other than it is a huge cash cow for Universal. I think the thing that made me the most upset while watching Jurassic World Rebirth is it literally follows the exact same formula to a T as the first Jurassic Park. We open on this set piece of these dinosaurs essentially breaking out of this lab. We see this lab is studying these dinosaurs, and and something happens where a Snickers wrapper gets stuck in a fusion machine between these two dinosaurs, and they end up creating like these weird man-made monstrosities. Yes, weird product placement with Snickers, but I digress there. We then had this billionaire in the form in the first one we have Alan Grant. This time we have Rupert Friend's character find these scientists and these dinosaur experts and say, hey, why don't you come with me in order to make my idea profitable. They end up going to the park. They are in this case the equator. Stuff starts going down. They realize, hey, maybe we shouldn't be trying to play God with these things, and they leave the island, and they are changed people essentially. I think going towards similar beats of the previous entries in the franchise isn't bad, but I think when your film feels this lifeless and this like devoid of fun and this unmemorable, it only makes those aspects stick out more, and it really feels like this film is trying to play a facade as to what once worked back in 1993 instead of trying to instead of trying to capture that magic and that wonder that film captured. It's literally just going plot by plot through all the ideas. There is a family on the equator that are essentially taking a vacation, and that family is just there. So essentially we have kids in danger in this film. I've spoken a lot about how when you have these big blockbusters and when they put kids in danger, you really do feel like it is just kind of like they're really just doing it in a manufactured way to get a cheap bit of suspense out of you to say like, oh man, are these kids not going to make it, even though you know they're obviously going to make it. And this is no different. I think the fact that we have an entirely different family on this island really just for no other reason than just to add a little bit more suspense and peril, I think was just a really like unnecessary addition. I don't think the actors that play that family were bad. I didn't write their names down. I'll look them up right now. But I actually do think they were one of the highlights of the film, where they were trying to give as much heart as they could, and they were trying to be committed. Yeah, the head of the family, played by Manuel Garcia Rolfo, he's the head of this family. He has a daughter, he has a son, and their daughter's friend is there. And yeah, there's really no other reason for them to be there other than when the dinosaurs start attacking. We have a little bit more reason to care about, other than our other unmemorable characters are also in danger. Speaking of those unmemorable characters, Zora Bennett, like I said, Scarlett Johansson plays the lead in this film. By the way, I saw today she is now officially the highest grossing actor working today. I believe she has now surpassed Harrison Ford, I believe, for the highest grossing actor. So good on her. I think she's given many good performances. This is not one of them. I think Scarlett Johansson is sleepwalking through this film. She is giving the absolute bare minimum that is necessary for this performance to work. Like, she's not bad by any means, but she says her lines with like the least amount of charisma. You kind of get the sense from her performance that this character does care about dinosaurs and that she does want to make a difference in the world, but there's no real I can't really remember anything unique about this character as I can with a character like Alan Grant in that first film. There's really nothing fun. She has a boyfriend at the start that she also brings in the mission. I believe her boyfriend's played by Ed Skrein. He doesn't really bring too much to the film, but yeah, Scarlett Johansson not giving that great of a performance. Like when it comes to these big monster movies, having like super memorable characters isn't always like the most necessary thing if you are able to have your set pieces be solid, which I'll get to in a second. But you still want your main cast to be committed to what they're doing and still take it seriously. And it really does just feel like Johansson's just giving like Johansson can't even reach that small bar here. And I wish she would have given a little bit more. Jonathan Bailey and Mahershala Ali, who plays this dinosaur hunter, are a little better. Jonathan Bailey sort of is playing that like hot nerd trope that I think you've seen in a lot of movies where, oh, you know, this guy is like really nerdy into dinosaurs, even though it looks like Jonathan Bailey. So you have this beautiful specimen of a man, but oh boy, he has glasses on, so he's a little mild-mannered. But really, like, Jonathan Bailey is a really likable actor, so he's able to give enough to this role. And then Mahershala Ali is probably my favorite performance in the film. he plays this like really rough and tugged like dinosaur hunter. Ollie is like one of the better actors working today. It's been the second since I think we've seen a role him given material that he's been deserving of, and he always brings his all. And whenever he's around, you know this character has like a really like no nonsense attitude. He carries this power that an actor like Marshall Ali carries, and every time he's on screen, I'm not hating my time watching it because Marshall Ali is so much fun to watch. Even when we get to the third act of the film, a lot of it is focused on his character, and I think that was a really good idea from Gareth Edwards. Speaking of Gareth Edwards, he is what I think keeps this movie from being like completely unwatchable, specifically to the level of those last two Jurassic World movies, where Gareth Edwards, regardless of what you think of him as a director, I love Rogue One. I'm iffy on his Godzilla movie. I think he is really excellent at creating scale and making things feel big. And the set pieces when it comes to scale and size, that is not where this movie falters. When you do have the characters on the island, and when you are just really like masking in the size of a Brachiosaurus, and just seeing how small these characters are compared to them, when you are in the lab and when you have these giant dinosaurs running down there, you do feel the impact that you are supposed to feel. And I think that is just because Gareth Edwards is such a great blockbuster filmmaker. By the way, the creator, he made that 2 years ago at this point. Really, really good original sci-fi movie that I would recommend you check out. But yeah, you can definitely tell that the talent is on display. I can kind of tell a lot of this movie does feel rushed because so much of the plot just keeps on going forward. And like the movie's not like short by any means. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it's cramming a lot of story, and we never really get the chance for our characters to like really like sit down and like explain why they're doing this and how they emotionally feel. But when we are in those big blockbuster moments, I didn't completely hate it because Gareth Edwards is a really good filmmaker when it comes to making when it does come to capturing scale. Another plot point I want to talk about. Rupert Friend, as I said, he plays the head of this like healthcare conglomerate, and he's just sort of there just to be like the big like rich villain stand-in. I applaud this movie that it is trying to take on big ideas, but when the last movie was about locusts coming back to life from the 17th most popular character in the original film, I just couldn't help but laugh a little at the fact that now we are tackling like healthcare issues in our country through the Jurassic World franchise. So yeah, it wasn't handled horribly, but I just sort of rolled my eyes like, okay, movie needs to throw its message into the film, and that stuff normally doesn't bother me. It bothered me here because of how just tacked on it truly did feel. And I do think I think a lot of the movie would work if the CGI wasn't so rough. I think there were maybe like a couple of shots in this film where towards the end where the CGI actually does look good with the dinosaurs. I think when we are in the nighttime scenes, I think it's able to mask how like unfinished this movie kind of looks. That's sort of what I was alluding at when I said this movie feels rushed. Is it just didn't feel like it felt like it needed a lot more time in post because of how unrealistic these dinosaurs look. And I know what you're thinking, Payson, they're dinosaurs. How realistic could they look? Go back and watch that first movie. Those dinosaurs still look great today. They still move like what you would think a dinosaur looks. This time, I really do just feel like I'm watching computers. I feel like I'm watching something artificial, and it doesn't feel in any way creative or magical. And when you do have scenes where the actors are supposed to be acting in the wonder of seeing these dinosaurs on this island, I want to feel for them. But one, I just don't think this cast is as invested as the original film. And two, I just don't think it looks as good, that it just cannot capture that feeling and magic that it should of seeing dinosaurs walking in real life. Talking about these movies in a negative way is not fun for me. I wish I could say, man, go and see this movie. It's a really great fun time at theater. But I know what this franchise is capable of, and when I just see something this creatively bankrupt, I just can't help but just shake my head and say why we can do so much better with our films. The idea of where our characters are at the beginning, where we know that the general population has become sick and tired of seeing dinosaurs. That's an interesting idea. But when your whole thing is you have characters that are bored and are tired and are trying to find something new to do with the dinosaurs, I can't help as an audience member as be bored as well. Now, when we do get to the island, we do start seeing these like combinations of dinosaurs. That was really fun, and that did add a little bit of life, but I wish we could have done a little bit more. Maybe they'll do more in a sequel. I'm not sure if we're going to get a sequel because this story is really, really self-contained. And I do want to give Gareth Edwards props for that, for the fact that he wasn't this doesn't feel like the start of a new trilogy, even though with as good as this movie did at the box office, I would be super surprised if this is the last Jurassic movie we get. But I will give Gareth Edwards props that this movie is very self-contained, even though I just didn't think it was all that great. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, 0 being awful, 10 being amazing, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I still think this is a pretty bad blockbuster. Yes, it's not as bad as some other movies in the franchise, but when you really only have one excellent film and everything else is just okay at best, saying that this isn't as bad as some of the other films is not that high of praise. It felt lifeless. The story I felt was really, really was really just groan-inducing. The script, because it could have used a lot more work, and it really does just feel like a cynical pandering studio cash cow. If you are diehard into these movies, if you like the franchise in general, I think you'll like this one. I don't think this is the worst movie in the franchise. I think there are hints of good ideas here, but this franchise needs a little bit more ambition if it's going to win me back over again. But at the same time, looking at that box office, maybe it doesn't need to win me back over. On to the next movie we are reviewing tonight. That is 40 Acres, directed by R.T. Thorne. This is a post-apocalyptic movie where we learn years back a famine hit America, and many different Americans have settled in different parts of the country. We are focusing on a Canadian group led by Daniel Deadwyler and her family. Daniel Deadwyler plays the character of Haley. She was trying to raise her son, Emmanuel, even though she has a very rocky relationship with Emmanuel because Emmanuel just isn't quite as responsible as her, and she has become very grown in through the society, and she wants him to lead. And for the first half of the movie, we're really just sort of living with them on this in this commune, in this community. And the second half of the movie, invaders attack their settlement, and they need to find a way to defend themselves. I didn't really know this movie was coming out until about. Hold on, I'm just gonna see if I can make myself a little less blurry. Y'all just give me one quick second. There we go. Yeah, I didn't really know about this movie until about a couple weeks ago, and I'm really happy I learned about it because I thought this was a really surprisingly good movie. I think it does a great job at not giving you too much exposition and just throwing you right into the apocalypse. If you watch my 28 Years Later review, you know I love world building. That is sort of like lack thereof world building, where it says, hey, we're not going to really be focused on holding your hand through this world. We're just going to throw you right into the story. And I think this movie does a really great job at doing that. You have one title card at the beginning showing how the apocalypse happened. And then throughout the next like 45 minutes, we're really just seeing where these characters are at in regards to the apocalypse. We are seeing like their hierarchy of leadership. And I think that was a really great plus, because I think it would have taken too much time to sort of just sit down and tell you what's going on, I personally would have been a lot less invested in this story. As I said, Daniel Deadwyler, she plays the lead, having a really great year. She was good in the Woman in the Yard, not a great movie, but she was good in it. She had a really great cameo on The Bear this season. But yeah, she plays Haley, the leader of this community, and she's giving a good performance in a role that I think was really, really challenging, because this character This character is not likable at all. Like, she is not in this community. She's not leading this community in a way where she's trying to make friends. She's just trying to make sure they survive. She is yelling at them. She is insulting them. She is always grading their every little behavior they have that comes to blow with other members of the community, specifically her son, Emmanuel. And while I think the movie does a good job at showing you why she is like that, these types of characters can often be very hard to follow for a long period of time like this. And I would be lying if I said I thought the character maybe could have had a few more moments of humanity in her character, even though the movie does let you care about other characters in different ways. Emmanuel, in the middle of the movie, he finds a stranger in this community, and he needs to keep her secret because he knows if his mom finds out about her, she will immediately kill her. And the young actor that plays Emmanuel, I wrote his name down. Oh no, I did not. I should definitely look that up. But no, I thought he was great as her son, and probably my favorite performance in the movie. Even though Daniel Denweiler does do a very good job at leading this film. Emmanuel is played by K.T. O'Connor. I don't believe I've seen him in anything. Yeah, this is one of his first films, but I would love to see him in more stuff. And I think the reason why this movie works so well is because most of it is put on their shoulders, and I think she is very, very good at that. Okay. Those two are very good. I think in terms of pacing wise, I think it is maybe not the best paced movie, because I think for an hour and 50 minutes, I think you probably could have cut maybe like 15 minutes out, because I do think it does a lot of time like setting up for the third act of when these invaders come and when these characters have to defend their community. But I do think it does a good job at paying everything off and selling you on why these characters are here. At the end, you are the final, like, the major climax at the end is our characters versus cannibals. There's really no like redeeming factors to these villains. It's not a Last of Us style apocalypse where everyone has their own story. No, it's very much like, no, the characters we are following are the good guys. These are the bad guys. But there's nothing really wrong with that. I think the movie makes you care about the characters to a point. R.T. Thorne, I think, directs the heck out of this movie. Most of it is shot at night, and so most of the shots are very dark. But I think the way this movie is lit, it is lit in a really technically impressive way that I think helps you keep track of everything. I think in the climax, we have to keep track of a lot of characters, and the film does a really, really great job at focusing on scale and setting up a decent climax. There's not really too much to talk about this one, but I do think it was still a very successful film for the post-apocalyptic genre. If I were to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 10 videotapes, 0 being awful, 10 being excellent, I'm going to give it a 7. I think this is good. I don't think this is in any way a like mind-blowing film. But I think for what it does, if you're looking for a solid action like action thriller, I think this one definitely does its job. If you have the time, I would recommend you go see it in theaters. And when it comes out of streaming, I would recommend checking it out because I do think it is a pretty successful film. But yeah, that just about does it for Cinemaster's reviews this week. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the video store. It helps grow our channel a lot. Next week, I'm only going to be reviewing one movie. I just know what my schedule is going to be for next week. And I think I'm only going to have time to see one movie. What a movie it is, because we are going to be reviewing Superman. That is the first film in the new DC Universe franchise. Really hoping that one is good. I will be back next week to talk about it. Thank you all for watching, and as always,
and the award for most vapid film review of the century goes to...
Okay, movie review. Okay, I thought it was beauty.
And he's now in cinema hell, where one day we'll all be reunited.
This is me at the Regal Cinema crying as I did through much of the film.